Comment.
Yes, thank you for that. Guys online, are you guys getting me there? Those that are online, are you guys hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Right, sorry for that. We are basically at question one, so we will look at that question. Okay, so it says now three companies. That is basically Aventure, Bigger, and Economia runs car rental businesses. Their charges based on the number of kilometers for which the car is driven and the time for which the car is rented are shown in the table below. Okay, so this table shows now the charges of those three companies. Now it says question A says that Joel wishes to hire a car for 2 days to drive for 400 kilometers to his destination. So that if Joel hires a car from a venture company, his cost would be $1,454. Okay. So for this company, it basically charges how much? $207 per day, and also 2.60 cents per kilometer altogether. Okay, so what you are going to do if it's basically hiring from this company, which charges actually what per day. This is actually the cost per day, and this is actually the cost per what per kilometer. So we are going to do what you are going to say is basically hiring for 2 days, right? So we will then say 200 multiplying what? Okay, multiplying by 2 because it's 2 days, plus again what? Plus again, again charges what? Right, those that are online, please, I would not want to mute this side, okay? So bear with us. All right, so plus again, that's 400 kilometers, but they charge $2.6 per kilometer. So you are going to multiply with 2.60 cents. Okay. So if you take a calculator and you add all that, definitely you will get how much? You get 1,454. Remember, it should always be correct to put decimal place for money and finance. Are we fine with that one? Right. The second question says that find the difference between the largest and the smallest charges that Joel can pay. Okay. So here we are going to find the difference. How do we find the difference between the largest and the smallest that that person can pay? Now here there is an assumption that you do not know from which company altogether. So you need to know all the amounts. If it's from the first one, from the first company, or the second, or the third. Which one is going to be the minimum, the maximum, the basically the median one there. So you need to find. So you already know for this company, which is how much, which is just 100. So we need to find the amount of this, and then maybe one of them will be the minimum or maximum altogether. Okay, so okay, I have this paper now because of space. Those that are online, maybe I can minimize a little bit. Yes, those that are online. So what we are going to do, we basically have to find how much money will this person pay if he basically choose company, the second company. Okay, so that amount will be what? It only charges $10.50 per kilometer. So that one will be how many kilometers? They are basically 400 kilometers. So that one will be 400 multiplying what? 400 multiplying what? Multiply 10.50. 50 because it actually charges that amount per kilometer. Okay, so are you guys seeing the oh, I see. You guys are seeing that, right? Okay, so this one is giving you how much? It's giving you 4,200, right? Yes, okay. Now you know the amount for this company. This one you as well know it. So therefore you need to again to find the amount of this company. How much money will he pay? Okay, if he has with economy. So this one basically charges only daily, it's a daily fee, which is 560, right? But how many days? How many days? So 2 days. Are you guys online hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you multiply this with 2, okay? So that is basically 2 days, and you are going to get 1,120. You are going to get, yes, let's get involved. Okay, so 1,120, okay? So now, because they say find the difference between the largest and the smallest charges that Joe can pay. So which one, which company gives the largest? So it's basically the second one, right? So yes, which is this one is the maximum, and the minimum one is what? It's actually this one for economy. So you can look at this. This is actually the median one. So therefore, the difference will be from what? 4,200 minus what? Minus the smallest, which is actually 1,120. And then this one gives you, sorry for that. You are confused. Okay. Let me just see it for you. Where are you started? Okay, great. So, all right, you are stuck here. Okay. So what we are trying to do is, you read the question, it says, find the difference between the largest and the smallest charges that Joel can pay. Are we together? So you want to choose a company, okay? You know, in Namibia, there are cabs and taxi also you can hire and also private cars, right? So now, before you go there, you need to know, what if I go with this one, this company? This one, they charge actually what? They charge 200, they charge this amount per day, and also 2.60 cents per kilometer, okay? This one only charges what? 10.50 cents, $10.50, okay, per kilometer. This actually only charges what? It charges per day, that is 560 altogether. So now you need to know how much each company, in total, how much each company is actually, how much money you will have to pay company. Now the first one we already know it because it was from the first question that if he hires with this company, he's going to pay 1,454. Okay, because we need to find the largest value. From which company is it going to be? Is it from here or this one or that one? Okay, then the second, this one we already know it. The second one actually is which one? So is this one 400? The second one, remember, it charges only per kilometers, okay? But how many kilometers is Joel going to travel? Actually 400 kilometers. For how many days? For 2 days. But this company charges per kilometer. So it's going to be what? It's going to be 400 kilometers times what? Times 10, that amount, right? So same applies to the next 560, which we don't get now. I think now you are getting it. So for this company, the third one is going to be what? Because it's making daily charges. So which is 560 per day, okay? 560 per day, but for how many days? For 2 days. Are you fine with that? Okay. So the difference here should be 3,001 and 80. Okay. So 3,080. So you take that one right there. Okay. Is everyone fine online?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right, so okay. Now the second one says Linia has a car for 3 days. She finds that hiring either beggars, is it beggars or beggars? Yes. Yes, cars. Or economia's cars would cost the same. How far does this, how far does she intend to travel? Therefore, we are going to find some kilometer distance there. Okay, so we need to have, we are going to equate something. They are going, some things are going to be equal. Are we together? So it means that if she decides now to hire basically this with this company and the second company, the cost will be the same altogether. So we are going to use to equate something there. So basically, if she's hiring for beggars, it's going to be what? We have to go up there now. Okay, remember it's for 3 days. Those that are online, we need to go up there and see how do these people charge. They charge actually what? They charge per hour, isn't it? They charge per hour. So it means that the kilometer, whatever distance, so they basically not per hour, but what per kilometer, isn't it? But the kilometers is what we are looking for, isn't it? That one would be a variable x. Okay, so the charge per kilometer and the distance that is being required basically is the one we are looking for. So they charge how much? 10.50 cents. Okay, so that one we will then say, oh, if it's from this company, they are going to charge $10.50 multiplying whatever kilometers. Okay, so it's like a month. So maybe I can use y. Yes, multiplying something, eh? Are we together? Okay, so this is just y is just now the kilometer, the distance that we do not know. Okay, so they are saying that if she hires with this company and this one, the cost will be the same. Are we together? So economia, you go up there. For economia is going to be how do they charge? What is their plan for charging? So economia is actually what they charge per day. Are we together? But how much do they charge? 560, is it? So they basically charge $560. So it's going to be equal $560 multiplying time because those ones they charge per day. But they've given you that this person hires a car for how many days? For 3 days. Are we together? So we are going to multiply with what? With 3. Okay, so we are going to multiply with 3. And therefore, this one will just be 10.5y equals what? 1,600 1,680. And then you divide with 10.5. You divide this side with 10.5. Okay, what is your y? 161 kilometers. So this is actually 160 kilometers. Okay, those that are online, are you guys fine?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. Okay, so we are to move on to the next question, but there's still another one. It says that there's a sing, right? Those that are in the bed. Listen, are you guys seeing? All right. So it says that Neema hired a car for 4 days from Economia company in 2019. He calculates that the cost of hiring a car was 25% more than it was in 2018. Now, when you look at that, okay, maybe I may go ahead, work out the cost of hiring a car for 4 days from Economia company in 2018. When you look at this question, what comes in your mind? From which topic do you relate it to? Come again?
Best percentage.
Yes, those that are online now, what do you think? What do you think? What is that we are looking at? What is percentage? That is what. Okay, so it's always based when you do that. This question is basically from this, so that you play around there. Okay, so it's a reverse percentage. Okay, so reverse percentage has a formula that is actually 100 over what? Over the percentage, multiplying what? The quantity, okay? Multiplying now the quantity. Are we together? That is actually the formula for this. So if they are saying that this person had now a car for 4 days from Economia Company in 2019, and he calculates that the cost of hiring was 25% more than it was in 2018. It means that in 2018 it was what? It was less. Are we together? It was less in 2018. Therefore, our percentage here is going to be what? It's going to be 100 plus that percentage, eh? Plus that percentage. Are we together? Plus the 25%. So plus 25%. So which is going to give you what? 125%. Definitely, if you say 100 over 125 multiply the quantity, I don't know the quantity yet, but we might know the quantity altogether. Now I think we can get the quantity. So even if you say 100 over what? Over 125 multiply the quantity, the amount will be less. Okay? It will be less. But if it was maybe a decrease, so it means that you are going to remove from the 100. Are we together? Okay. So now we need to find the quantity. This one we are fine with it. What you are going to put right there, we are fine with it. Now what are we going to multiply? From which company did this person hire the car from? Economia. How do they charge? They charge how much? Okay, so any person hiring a car from Economia pays how much? Basically pays $560. Those that are online, you can see there. They pay actually $560 per day. And told that that person hired a car for 4 days, isn't it? Yes. Quantity to calculate how much money was there. Yes, I'm hearing something that side. All right. Yes. So now we can calculate the quantity. How much? What are we going to put here? So therefore, we will say what we are going to say 4 times what? 500 what? 560, which will give you what? 2,240. Okay. Therefore, the amount that that person paid or had paid in 2018 is actually what? 100 over 125 multiplying the quantity. What is the quantity? It's actually how much? 2,240. Okay. So what will you get? 1,792 on the dot. All right. So basically, that's actually it. Okay. So that is actually it. Are you guys online fine?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. Okay. So we are moving to the next question. Oh, all right. So this one we have done it already yesterday. So Miss will take over. We'll carry on from question 5. Okay.
Okay, so question 5 reads as follows. Yes. You all have the question paper? 1 minute. You went to Woodman Road.
Oh.
Okay, so question 5 reads as follows. On the first part of a journey, Jose drove a distance of X kilometers. So that means That is my distance on the first part of the journey. Yes. Question 5. Question 5. Joshua,
This one is
now you have to no. What else is the difference question paper? We all have the same. We all have the same question. Okay, so it says on the first part of a journey, Jose drove a distance of X kilometers. So we don't know the distance, but it's represented by X kilometers. That is on the first part of the journey. So obviously there are two parts of this journey. Okay. And then his car used 5 liters of fuel. Okay. The rate of fuel used by his car was 500 over X liters per 100 kilometers. Okay. So that's the formula that they use there. Now this X that you see here at the bottom, where do you see it? The distance there. Because they are talking about the rate being 500 over X liters per 100 kilometers altogether. Okay, so every 100 kilometers, that is the rate. It will be 500 over X altogether. So that is for the first part of the journey. And then they are saying, now we are talking about the second part of the journey. Now in the second part of the journey, Jose then drove another X plus 10 kilometers. Now in this case, our distance is X plus 10. Are you guys following? Okay. And his car used another 5 liters of fuel. So what do you see here? The amount of liters of fuel is exactly the same as the first part of the journey. You guys see that? Okay. And then now they are asking you, write down an expression in terms of X for the rate of fuel used by his car on this part of the journey. Okay, give your answer in liters per 100 kilometers. Now, the second part of the journey, what you notice there is they are talking about 5 liters of fuel, just like it was done in the first part of the journey, all together. And then they are also talking about liters per 100 kilometers, just like it was also said in the first part of the journey. The only difference between the two is the distance. Can you see that? So that means the expression that I'll write here for the rate, I will just have the 500 as my constant altogether. So that means I will say this part of the journey, I will then have what? I'll just replace my distance with what? X plus 10. So then I will say the rate will then be 500 over X plus 10. Altogether, because all the other parameters were the same, 100 kilometers. So that means the only thing that changed there is the distance, which is X plus 10 altogether. If the first, yeah, this part they are asking you to talk about the second part of the journey. He said that they are telling you write down an expression in terms of X for the rate used by his car on this part of the journey. So we are only talking about this second part of the journey. Are we together? Okay. Can I go on? Okay. Now Roman 2 says, on this part of the journey, the rate of fuel used by the car decreased. Yes. No, you don't write it. Yeah, yeah. You can put it there. 100. The 100. Thank you for that. Okay, so yeah, you can come in.
Normal. Isn't it?
The question is, can I go on?
Mula, you can sit behind Charlotte.
Joshua, are we together? What did I say? Okay, that's good. Now, the second part they are saying, on this part of the journey, which part of the journey are they talking about? The part of 500 over x plus 10. Are we together? So on this part of the journey, the rate of fuel used by the car decreased by 2.5 liters per 100 kilometers for the rate of fuel used in the first part of the journey. So that means the first part of your journey. So here when they talk about the first part of the journey, then I think about the 500 over x. So that 500 over x is the one that is used by 2.5. Are we together? Are you guys following? Okay, so what I'm doing is this part of the journey I represent it by 500 over x plus 10. The second part of the journey, that's what we wrote up there, right? The first part of my journey is represented by 500 over x. That's the one that was given to me. And then they are telling me that the rate of fuel used by the car decreased by 2.5 liters per kilometer from the rate of fuel used from, this is very important, from the rate of fuel used in the first part of the journey. So it's the first part of the journey that is used by 2.5. Are we together? Okay, so what you are going to do is you are going to equate these two things. Because what they are basically telling you is this part of the journey will reduce by 2.5 from the first part of the journey. So that's what you are basically going to do. And then they are telling you must show that it will become this. Okay, so what you are going to do is you are going to equate these two things and then you will manipulate such that it looks like that. Are we together? Okay, so how will I write it then? 500 over x plus 10 is going to be equal to 500 over x minus 2.5. You can write it as 2.5 or 5 over 2. Are we together? Okay, so are we together till there? So what they're basically telling me is the first part of my journey is equivalent, the second part of my journey is equivalent to the first part of my journey decreased by 2.5. That's what they basically mean. Are you guys following? Is there anyone that's not Bobby? You understand? Yes, Mauritius. Where are you lost? Okay, this part here, what does this word mean? They are telling you it's decreased by 2.5 liters per kilometers from where? From the rate of use in the first part. So you are not going to remove it from the second part of the journey. The word from decreased from the first part of the journey. Right here. Are you following? Okay. And then what do we do from there? Why are we moving it? Okay, what do you see that's common to this fraction and that fraction? They are like terms equal. Okay, so you are collecting your like terms on one side of your equation because they both have x. The other one does not have x. You guys understand? Okay, so when I bring this 500 over x to this side, I will then have 500 over x plus 10 minus 500 over x is equal to negative 2.5. You guys have any questions so far? Okay. And then we make the denominators the same, right? So I'll just write it as one fraction by saying x into x plus 10. Are we together? Now, if I look at this part of my denominator, What is missing there so that it looks like this x into x plus 10? What is missing? Just the x, right? So what I do to the denominator, I must do to the numerator. Are we together? If I multiply this x plus 10 by x, it will look like that. It is x into x plus 10. So the thing missing here is just the x. Are we together? And here I have x, but down here I have x into x plus 10. So what is missing there? X plus 10. So I'll multiply this by x plus 10. What I do to the denominator, I must also do to my numerator. Are we together? Are you not? We are fine. Okay. Now, from there, I will then have in my numerator, I will have 500 x minus 500 into x plus 10, which is equal to negative 2.5. Are we together till there? Is there anyone that's not? You are all fine. Dala? Yes. Yes, Deep?
Verse 4 and
Are we together till there? Okay, good. And then from there, I have a fraction that I want to solve for x here, or I want to write it in such a way that it becomes a quadratic equation. For me to get rid of the denominator, what do I do? How do I get rid of the denominator? What's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So I'll multiply by whatever is in the denominator. What do I have in the denominator in this case? X into x plus 10. Okay. So I'll multiply both sides by x into x plus 10. This side I'll also multiply this with x into x plus 10. What will happen this side? This will cancel. Are we together? And then I will remain with 500 x, and then here I'll multiply by 500 both of these terms. Are we together? Negative 500 times x will give me negative 500 x. Negative 500 times positive 10 will give me negative 5,000. Okay. And then negative 2.5. So here what I'll do is I'll first multiply this. Okay. Then I'll have negative 2.5 into x squared plus 10x. Are we together till there? Okay. And then 500x minus 500x will give me 0. Okay? And then this side I'll just have negative 5,000, which is equal to negative 2.5x squared. Are we together? So I'll multiply in, and then negative 2.5 times 10 will give me what? Negative 25x. So what I'll do now is to take this to the other side of the equation. Are we together? Okay. So what will you have then? Okay. Let's put the 0 on the other side. So I'll have negative 2.5x squared minus 25x plus 5,000, which is equal to 0. But the question is telling me that I must show that it becomes x squared plus 10x minus 2,000. But now here I have negative 2.5 minus 25x, negative 2.5x minus 25x plus 5,000 is equal to 0. How do I make sure that my x squared has a coefficient? My x squared is just getting a coefficient of 1. You divide 2 out by negative 2.5. Are we together? Because I want the coefficient of x squared to be 1. And it must be positive. Are we together? They could have asked me to show that it must become this, then you stop there. But in this case, they want me to show that it becomes that. Then you have to divide by negative 2.5 throughout. So you are manipulating such that it looks like what they asked you to show. Are we together? Okay, so if I divide by negative 2.5, then I divide this by negative 2.5, Then I divide that by negative 2.5. I divide my 0 by negative 2.5. Negative 2.5 divided by negative 2.5 will just give me positive yes. Okay, so it will be positive 1, which is just x squared. 25 divided by negative 25 divided by negative 2.5, positive 10x. And then 5,000 divided by negative 2.5, negative, which is equal to, what do you have up there? You have the same thing. So what we basically try to do there is to manipulate such that it looks like that. Are we together? The people online, are we together?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Hello?
ma'am.
You guys understand? Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. The people here with me? Are you fine? Okay, good. Now the next question, solve the equation of x squared plus 10x minus 2000 is equal to 0. I think we can all do this one. Okay, we can use the formula where we say x is equal to negative b plus minus the square root of what? B squared minus 4ac over 2a, right? And then in this case, our a will be equal to 1, because that's the coefficient of x squared. Our b will be equal to 10, and our c will be equal to negative 2000. So I want you to quickly do this. Then you give me the answer. Do it quickly. Substitute those values in there. Or do you want us to do it together? Can we do it together? You want to do it on your own? Okay, so quickly do that. So you substitute those values in there. The people online, are you busy? Let's see
Yes,
who
ma'am.
gets the.
Yes, ma'am.
If you are done, give me the answer. AJ, are you done? What is your answer? 40 and negative 50, and that's true. No. Negative 40. Oh, yeah, it's 40 and negative. Wait, yeah, it's negative 50, sorry. It's 40 and negative 50. Why is that? If we had to, so it's 40 and negative 50 because if I take these two factors, 40 times negative 50 gives me negative 2000, and if I say 40 minus, 50 minus 40 gives me 10. So let's quickly substitute and see if you all get the same answer. So I'll say x is equal to negative 10 plus minus the square root of 10 squared minus 4 times my a, which is 1, times my c, which is negative 2000. Now, the mistake some of you make is you don't write that 2000 as a negative. And then you get the negative in the square root, then you take left error. So please take the sign. Are you together? And then you divide that by 2 times your a, which is 1. Are you together till there? Okay, what did you get inside there? 8,000. So you have x is equal to negative 10 plus minus the square root of 8,100 divided by 2. Because 2 times 1 is 2. And when you do that, it gives you what? The square root of that gives you what? 90. So that means your x will then be negative 10 plus minus 90 divided by 2, which will basically be x is equal to negative 10 plus 90 divided by 2, or your x is equal to negative 10 minus 90 divided by 2. So if you say 90 minus 10 is 80 divided by 2 gives you 40, negative 10 minus 90 will give you negative 100 divided by 2 gets negative 50. So that's how you get those two. Okay. Otherwise, you factorize after you factorize, you take them over. That's how the signs will change. Because if I have to factorize, then I'll end up with x, x plus 50 into x minus 40, which is equal to 0. Then I'll say x plus 50 is equal to 0, or x minus 40 is equal to 0. When I take them over, the 50 will become negative. When I take the 40 over, it becomes positive. No, it's positive. When you factorize, it's positive, but then when you solve it, because now you will have x plus 50. Remember, if I say 50 minus 40, my answer must be positive 10. If you have the negative on 50, then it's negative 10 here, and you don't have negative 10. Now, the way you end up with the same answers here is, if I say x plus 50 is equal to 0, when I take this 50 over, it becomes negative. When I take this 40 over, it becomes positive. Are we together? Do you guys have any questions? Okay, good. So you get your 3 marks for doing that. Okay? Now the next question, they are saying, find the rate of fuel used by Jose's car to complete the journey. Give your answer in liters per 100 kilometers. Now remember, for Jose to complete the journey, we have this expression where we say 500 over x plus 10 will be equal to 500 over x minus 2.5. So whether I use this or I use that expression, my answer will be the same. But the trick is my x values, one is positive, the other one is negative. And I can't have a negative difference. So I will not use negative 50, but I'll just use positive 40. I can either substitute it here or I substitute it there, I'll get the same answer. Are we together? So you can test it if you put 40 here. So that means I can say 500 divided by 40 plus 10 gives me 50. 500 divided by 50 gives me what? So it will be 10 liters per 100 kilometers. Or let's put it in there and see if we get the same answer. If I put it in here, I'll say 500 divided by 40 minus 2.5. 500 divided by 40 gives you what? 12.5 minus 2.5, you get 10. So whether you use this expression or the other expression, you will get the same answer. All together. Yes. No. That's just you see, you got these two answers from that quadratic equation. That's why you got these two answers from. If you substitute that in that equation, you get 0. Okay. So here you are just getting the liters that you must substitute in this equation where you are given a constant of 500 altogether. So you solve for x. So you're substituting that x. If I take that x and I put it in that quadratic equation, my answer will be 0 because this whole thing is equal to 0. So these two numbers are the ones that make this statement true. So if I substitute them in that equation, I'll get 0. Are we together? You guys have any questions? Yes? So this second part of the question plays a very big role because this is the one that talks about the whole thing. It's combining both parts of the thing. Okay, you did circle geometry with Mr. Muzinga the other day. So you understand this topic so well. So that means I don't have to struggle to explain this question because you did this the other day. Yes. Yes. Okay, what don't you understand? Okay, so the total rate net is described by this Roman 2. Because they are telling you on this part of the journey, the rate of fuel used by the car decreased by 2.5. So here they are talking about both parts of the journey that they took on. So what they are basically telling you is on the second part of the journey, because it's the same person. Now this last part here, they are asking you the total rate taken by the whole journey. So find the rate used by Joseph to complete the journey. So you are combining both the first part of the journey, the second part of the journey. And that part of the question is giving us the relationship between the first part of the journey, the second part of the journey. So that's why we include that. Okay? Because we are telling you the second part, meaning the first part of the journey is decreased by 2.5 from the second part of the journey. So that's where the two are having that relationship to complete the journey. So to complete the journey, you have to subtract 2.5 from the first part of the journey because it decreased. But otherwise, you can use the second part of the journey straight because the second part of the journey is the part that you use to complete the journey. So that's why with the second part of the journey, we just take it as it is, which is 500 over x plus 10. So you can use that second part of the journey because that's the part that keeps you to the end of the journey. But you cannot use the 500 over x because the 500 over x is the first part of the journey which decreased by 2.5. So if you don't minus 2.5 from it, you will not get the same answer. You understand? You guys have any questions or you are fine? Right? Are you fine? Okay, good. Bobby's favorite topic, this one? Yeah, Bobby? Okay. Now the line PQR is a tangent to the circle with the center O. Can you all see the center O here? Okay. And then your tangent is this line PQR. What is a tangent line? It's not PQR. You will fail the exam if you say the tangent line. What is a tangent line? Eh? What is a tangent line? It touches any shape, not only a circle. Because you can also have the curve next, and then they'll ask you for the tangent line. So for as long as you have a line that touches any shape at one point, that is a tangent line. It does not go through the shape, but it just touches at one point. Are we together? Okay. So you must understand that because if you only think of a tangent line related to a circle, when they bring it in graph of function, you'll be lost. Because then you'll see what are they talking about. So you must understand the definition of the word. Are we together? So a tangent line is a line that touches a shape at exactly one point. It does not go through the shape, it just touches at one point. Are we together? Okay. So the difference between line OBO, CBO and PQO is that PQO only touches the circle at one point. Are we together? Do you see this line? It only touches at one point. This line here, if it has to go on, it will also touch here. Are we together? But this line, even if it goes on, it will only touch at that point. Finish. So that's what the tangent line means. Are we together? Okay. So if I draw another line like this, if I draw another line like that, not a tangent line, because it's touching the two points. Are we together? So a tangent line is specifically only touch at one point. Okay? Yes. Which one? Yeah.
It's working.
Oh, okay. Okay, can we go on? I'm not a computer study teacher. So forgive me. Okay, good. Now, so that part is clear, right? And then the other part that we're talking about is the reference line and the radius point line. That's very important because it will help you answer it. Okay? And then, so you had different rules that you look at with the Samangula, right? If I have a circle, then I have a line going through the center, and then this line touches the circumference. What kind of angle will I form here? Okay. If I have a circle, and then I have these 2 points, something like this. What can I say about these 2 angles? Yeah, equal. Okay, good. If I have another circle, then I have these 2 points here. And then these 2 points are meeting at the center O. And the same 2 points are meeting at the circumference of my circle. What do I say about these 2 angles? What can I say about these 2? The angle at the circumference, meaning at the, what is the circumference? The line of the circle. Okay. So the angle at the circumference is half the angle in the center. So if this angle is 20, what will this angle in the middle be? 40. So we all understand that part. Okay, good. And then if I have my circle, and then I have my tangent line, and then I have my center O, and then I have the radius. What can I say about this angle? It forms. Okay, good. If I have my circle, and then I have 2 tangent lines, okay, and then I have an angle here. What can I say about that one? Okay. So what I can say here is this will be an isosceles triangle. So these 2 angles will be equal to each other. Are you together? Okay, good. So with that said, I think we can try and answer this question. Okay, with that said, we'll try to answer these questions now. Eh? Okay, Bobby, behind scenes. The people online don't have to know what's happening this side. Are you guys fine that side?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We are just busy with things here. Okay, now write down PQO, giving angle PQO, giving a reason for your answer. Can the people online tell us what the answer is here for A? What is angle PQO going to be? We are looking at this angle here. What is that angle going to be? The people online, are you online? The people online, what is that angle there? What is the angle? Let's hear what they say. Hello? Are you guys there? You are saying what? What is the angle? Okay, the people with me here, what is the angle? Okay, it's 90 degrees. No, they must not write in the chat box. They must stop. We want to hear if they are weak or not. Okay, why do we say it's 90 degrees? Why do we say it's 90? Because the angle comes between tangent line and okay. Not the center. It's between the tangent and what? And the radius. Yes. Okay, so that's what you say, then you get the 2 marks there. So it's because it's the angle point between the radius and the tangent line. Are we together? Okay. Can we go on? CAQ. So we are looking at angle. Now, people, very important, when they give you three letters, the angle is where the letter is the middle. But you must also look at the other three letters where it's coming from, because then it tells you the size. Are we together? Now we are looking at angle CAC, A. So it's CAQ. We are looking at this angle here. Angle CAQ. What is that angle going to be? There? Okay. Now, what we must do for this question here is this. I have my circle there. I have different ways in which I can look at this shape here. So what I'll do is I have my tangent line here, right? Then I have this line going up to the center O. And then I have this line coming down. Then I know that this is 40 degrees, right? And because it's a radius and this will be 90 degrees. And then I will get the angle at the center. Okay? So what will it give me? This is 50 degrees. Okay? But that's not the angle they want. Okay, and then another property that I know, I have my circle, I have the point B, and then I have the point Q. Can you all see that? This B and Q. The same B and Q that's meeting in the center O is the same B and Q that's meeting at the circumference A. Can you see that? Now what do I know about angles that meet at the center and at the circumference? This angle here is double the angle at the center. Because it's coming from, you see angle O is coming from B and Q. From B and Q I'm meeting at the center, I'm also meeting at the circumference. Remember, you guys must not understand this thing like this. Okay, the problem is the moment the textbook draws it like this and like that, you expect it to be like that forever. No, it can move. For as long as it's coming from 2 points, A and B meeting at the center, and then it meets anywhere at the circumference, that law applies. Are we together? As long as it meets at the center and it meets at the circumference, you apply the law. It does not have to be like a heart. Are we together? You guys understand? Just like when we deal with geometry and we look at the word fan, in English we look at our F looking like that, but in mathematics that thing can be like this. We still consider it an F. It can be like this. We still consider it an F. Are we together? So we are looking, as long as the two lines are parallel and you have the transversal, you apply the law. We understand. Now here is the same thing. As long as these 2 points are meeting at the center and the same 2 points are meeting at the circumference, then that law applies. Are we together? If I have another one like this, going to E, this one is not an inscribed angle. Because they are not coming from the same point meeting at the center and going to the circumference. Are we together? So this will not be double. You see, BO is meeting at the center. I mean, BQ is meeting at the center and it's also meeting at A. So 50 is inscribed by that. But this one will be inscribed by the angle coming from B to E. So I'm looking at this whole thing. It will be double that whole thing because it must come from the same 2 points meeting at the center, the same 2 points meeting at the circumference. So this one will not be half of 50, but it will be half of that whole angle there. Are we together?
What does it say?
Half
Half of
B, yeah, QOB. Remember, you have B, O, Q, okay? Angle BOQ is half of angle BAQ. So the B and the Q is what they have in common. And then if I introduce X here, that means angle BOE will be equal to half of what? Half of what? BXE. So my B and E. Do you see that? This one will not be half of BOQ because the two letters, the same 2 points must meet at the center, the same 2 points must meet at the circumference, so that will be half of each other. You understand? You guys follow? Let me erase. Let me erase next. It's okay. Let me erase so that you understand. It's very easy. Let me quickly erase. I think I can teach computer. Okay, let me just do this quickly. I want to show you something. Now, yeah, let me just show you something. If I have this circle here, right?
Yes.
And then I have my A, and then I have my B, and then it's meeting at the center O, and then it's also meeting here. This is Y. Okay? So it's the same 2 points meeting at the center, the same 2 points are meeting at the circumference. But these angles here will not be inscribed by, they will not be opposite each other like this. This angle will be inscribed by the outer part altogether. So this angle will be half of the outer part. But if I draw it at the back part of, so this angle here will be half of, this is A, C, and D. So angle A will be double angle B, and angle D will be double angle C. Are we together? And it even makes sense. If you just look at these two, there is no way this angle here can be half of the angle there, because that angle looks, this angle here looks smaller than this angle B. Angle A looks smaller than angle B. Are we together? But the concept you must understand here is, if I have a circle and I have any 2 points on my circle meeting at the center, the same 2 points must meet at the circumference of my circle. Are we together? The same 2 points meeting at the center must be the same 2 points meeting at the circumference. If I have another letter F here, okay, let me call this A, B, C. If I have letter F there, and then I have an angle formed by these two. This angle here is not half of this angle. Why? Because this angle here is coming from A and F. It's not coming from A and B. So for it to be inscribed, it must come from the same 2 points meeting at the center, must be the same 2 points meeting at the circumference. If it's not the same 2 points, then it's not an inscribed angle. Are we together? Are you guys follow this? Yes.
If I had to draw that from F to
Yeah, if you have to draw another line here from F to the center, that means this angle AF, yeah, AOF will be inscribed by A. Let's call this G. So angle AGF will be half of angle AOF, because yeah, A and F is meeting at the center, A and F is also meeting are together. It must come from the same 2 points. You guys understand? But you understand this, however the shape will look to be able to answer it. Louis, what's the problem? What do you understand?
yeah. It's like let's
Okay, let Mr. Katemo try to explain.
there is a demonstration.
Yeah. Mr. Ademo wants to demonstrate something computer studies.
Yes. Class, it's let me show you from this one. But before that, I'll just go back to this. Those that are online, are we fine there?
Yes,
Great. The property that says if you have this, okay, all right, an angle at the circumference is twice the angle at the center, right?
Yes.
That is what you should see. So we are going to draw a chord somewhere, eh? So it's going to be right here. Okay, so connecting B and where? And Q. Can you see that? So here you have what? You are having 50 right here. Are we together? So you can see that it's this, whatever is going to be here, is going to be double what? I mean, it's going to be half what? It's going to be half what? Because of this. Eh? Because of this. Are we together? So right now, if I basically touch this one and move it, okay, like this, it will move like it will go like that. Are we together? Okay, and then it forms, it will be there. If I'll be moving it like this, can you see? Okay, it's just that you don't see. But now the mathematical application right here. Yes, you are fine now, right? Can you see this? I'll move there again. Are we together? So can you see this? This is an application that can demonstrate it. So you can see it right there.
I
Yes.
think you must demonstrate that later because now the kids online will not see.
Wonderful. Yes. All right. I think now you have an idea.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. People yeah. So what's going on? You remember the people Can we be quiet? Yeah, okay, now this is the thing. People don't confuse these two laws, ne? These two meeting at the center and meeting at the circumference. And then if I have this one, both these ones are where? At the circumference. This one is the center and the circumference. So they are two different. Okay? These two are both going to the circumference, whereas this one is ending at the center and going to the circumference. So this one is double the size of that. These two are the same. If this is x, that will also be x. If this is 2x, this will be x. Because this angle is double the angle at the circumference. So this one is meeting at the center as well as the circumference. Whereas this one, they are coming from 2 points, but they are both meeting at the circumference of the circle. So those ones will be equal. No. You must this sheet does not look like that. Let me just erase. Can you be quiet? Do you this you see this B and this Q is not coming, it must touch the circumference of your circle. Are we together? Now this B is coming from A, but then Q, it does not touch anywhere the circumference of the circle. Are we together? So you don't see this shape, in this diagram. You don't see that shape. This shape is not in that diagram. You only have this shape, but that shape is not in the diagram. Can you all see that? It must meet at the center and at the circumference. The other one, they must meet at the circumference. Yes.
You see, miss, I got it first. The only part that confused me was because A wasn't like directly.
Yeah, but that is what I'm saying. most of the time, learners, you look for the shape that was given to you in the textbook, but don't memorize things. Try to understand. The concept here is as long as I have 2 points meeting at the center and the same 2 points meeting at the circumference of my circle, then the angle in the center is double the size of the angle at the circumference. That's what you must understand. Are we together? Yes? No. What is angle B made up of? You see, B and Q is meeting at O. The same B and Q is meeting at A. That's why we call it the inscribed triangle. I mean, they are inscribed angles of each other. Are we together? The people online? Do you have any question? Can we go on? No, the chat, that was not time. Okay. Can I go on, guys? Okay. So what will angle CAQ be? What will angle CAQ be? So if this angle here, we found that this angle is 50, what will angle CAQ be? 25, because angle CAQ will be half of this angle. We all agree. Because your B and Q is meeting at O and it's also meeting at A. So this angle here will be 25 degrees. And your reason will be, what will your reason be? Okay, because it's an inscribed angle, right? So what you say is angle at the circumference. Angle at the circumference. Or you can say, sorry, you can even write it mathematically where you say angle. Oh, okay. So what you can say is angle BOQ, because angle BOQ is equal to 2 times angle BAQ. All together. Okay. So the fact that angle BOQ is 50, angle BOQ is 50, then that means your angle BAQ will be right. No. We are looking at it in terms of the inscribed angle. Remember, this CAQ has nothing to do with the properties of a circle. The reasons we are giving are reasons based on the properties of a circle. So that is the reason you are giving. Okay, and you must remember, angle at the center is double the angle of your circumference. Are we together? So if I multiply this angle by 2, it will give me 50. That's why I say angle BOQ is equal to 2 times angle BAQ. You're saying what? Yes? I said A, BAQ. Okay. BAQ and BOQ. The O is in the center, the A is at the circumference. Can we go on?
Ms. Mugunda?
Yes.
Ms. Mugunda? Before you go to the next question, that question that was showing a little bit of confusion with seeing that double the size of the angle in the center from the circumference, can I just show a visual picture of that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just share something over here. Just give me a second, because I see that it was causing a little bit of more. Okay, just a second.
Yes.
Okay, do you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Can
now
you share the screen?
I'm sharing it. You should see it.
Okay,
Are
there
you
is
not seeing? Okay, do this. Just give me a second.
I think you must come to this class.
That's the second.
Okay, just click on that, on that green. I just want to see if you can hear my voice in there.
Okay, the learners here in person, face to face, can you hear my voice there? Are you hearing me loud and clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good stuff. Now listen, the app that we're using here is one of those that we're using when we started off with it. Now I want to show you that in your book or any properties that they discuss around this property or show you in the book looks like this general shape here. And it's easy to see. If we do this, it's easy to see, okay, I've got the, let's say, which color can we use? Maybe blue, all right? I've got the angle here at the circumference and the angle at the center. So the angle at the center is twice the angle at the circumference. Are we following? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this angle A all around the circle. And then you're going to see the possible shapes that it will form. Are you following? But the property still holds because the A is not moving off the circumference. It just keeps there. And the same applies with the angle at the center. It also keeps there. Therefore, you will be able now to see how that moves. Okay, so let's try that. So you see when I'm moving A, the moment I come on this side, do you see that bow shape, the butterfly type of thing that was bringing the confusion? You understand? So the angle of A, even in this shape, if this is still your X, then this will still be your 2X because the property holds, the A is still on the circumference and the O here is still at the center. Nothing has changed. Are you following? And if we continue with that, let's continue the movement of the A. If I come on this side, the same thing applies, right? So if we can just get the screenshot of that, we zoom it in. What happens here? The angle at the circumference, right? Let's say if that is X, then the angle at the center will be twice of X. Are you seeing? The only difference here is the other side, right? Not this side. Is that making sense? Okay, so if we continue with the movement of A to this side, it still forms that butterfly or bow. The only difference here is just like what Mem was saying, and Mr. Katema also emphasized that this angle at the center remains there. If it happened that it had moved to the circumference, then you would have those two angles being the same size. But as long as it remains at the center, it will be double the size of the angle at the circumference. Now, at this stage, we'll get students like Mauritius that will ask, but sir, B is also on the circumference, C is also on the circumference. How come they are also the X's, or are they also relating that O will be double the size of B and double the size of C? No, it will not be, because the property holds that it needs to come from the same segment or it needs to come from the same chord. And I will elaborate a little bit more on that, okay? So for now, let us just follow A. This is what we know commonly. That's one form. Another form is this type of form. Another form can be like this bow or the bow to this side. Are we fine with those four forms? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Are we fine, guys? Those online, if it's fine to see them in that way, give me a thumbs up. Okay. All right, so I will try to put it the way it is in the question. It looks something like this. All right, I think it was something like this. Let me put it this way. Okay, let me just get to the question. Maybe that would be better. Okay, so I'm gonna just take this out. Right. So on the question, you will see that they start at the same point and they end at the same point. So what I meant with the chord is that if you draw a chord here between B and Q, that is not a nice chord. Maybe let's try to do it because we've got the means to draw a proper one. So let's take the ruler. So I'm going to put a chord. You know what a chord is, right? We all know what a chord is. So we're going to draw a chord here. Okay, not with a highlighter, maybe with a pencil. So we draw a chord here. Right. So it's almost similar to that statement that we have for the bow thing. Okay. So I'm starting at B and ending at Q, or you could start at Q, ending at B. It doesn't matter. So we're talking about the angle at the circumference and the angle at the center. So starting at B, going all the way up to A, then back to Q, right? You see that start. The same also applies for this side. If you start at B, going all the way up to O and then coming back to Q. So your starting point and your ending point are the same because they are starting from the same chord. If you look at that way, or if you don't look at the chord, you could say that they start from the same segment. Are we following? All right. But the only difference here is that this angle cannot be the same as that because this guy is not on the circumference. If it was on the circumference, you would have those inscribed angles that are the same size, but it's not the case here. Do you understand? And just like Miss has tried to move this A, just with the program that we were doing here, it was just easier for us to visualize it to that side or to that side. So if I move the A here, then it will form the common shape that we know. But you see that the angle here is still the A, which if this was X, then this will then be 2X. Are you following, guys? So it kind of looks the same as the bow that we have. So if I highlight that, it looks something like this, okay? So it looks like that butterfly shape or the bow shape. The only difference here for you to be able to know and not confuse is the center. It is at the center and not on the circumference. Therefore, it will apply that the angle at the circumference, okay, is related to the angle at the center, where the angle at the center is twice the size of that angle if this was X. I hope that is clear. Can you see that? My people, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
if it's clear, just give me a thumbs up. Those ones online, the ones in class, maybe we can say, yes, it's clear, or no, it's not clear. What do I hear? A yay or a nay? Is that clear? And I think Miss has worked it out. I haven't seen, I didn't look at the whole YouTube. I just was checking at it after I dropped Mr. Simba. She has shown you that if you look at this triangle, since this is 90, then you would have it as what? That this will now be 50, because the 50 and the 40 plus the 90 makes 180. And since this angle is 50, which is twice the size of the angle at the circumference, this angle will be 25. Does that make sense? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then if we go further, another rule I also explained to you was that the radius here and another radius here, those are two radii that forms an isosceles triangle. Isosceles triangle, two legs having the same feet. That means the foot here at the bottom will also be 70. So if this is together 140, only 40 is left to make 180. So that angle will then be 40. Are we together? Okay, I'll leave it here. Miss, I think we can share your screen again, then you can continue with this question. Is that fine?
Yes.
Okay, I'll stop sharing and then I'll come and share that other screen there. Okay.
So then we share ours. It is ours.
Okay, so we can go on. The last question, they're asking angle QOE. So we are looking at angle QOE, which, so we have our circle there. our center O, and then we have the line OQ, and then we have the line OE. Both these lines are your radius. So that means if this angle here is 70, just like Mr. Mugunda said, this angle will also be 70. And because it's an isosceles triangle, you'll be able to find angle QOE. Okay, which is 40 degrees. Are we together? So it's too much because you will have to say 180 degrees minus 2 times 70 degrees, which will give you 40 degrees. Are we together? Okay. And then angle EQR. So we are looking at angle E. We are looking at angle EQR. Now, people, again, we have this property here where I have the center O that comes there as my radius, and then I have my tangent line, and then with that tangent line, I have another line here that meets at E, and then it goes over to O, and I know that this angle here is 70 degrees, and I know that my radius and my tangent forms 90 degrees, right? So if that part of the angle is 70 degrees, what will this part be? No, we don't need that for now. We are looking at angle EQR. We are looking at that angle here. Okay? So we don't need the other part for now. So it will be 20 degrees because this angle here is supposed to be 90 degrees, but from that 90 degrees, 70 is taken. Are we together? So the remaining angle will be 20 degrees. So what you will do now is to say 90 degrees minus 70 degrees, which will give you 20 degrees. Okay, so when you come tomorrow, you do question 7. You guys can go and try and do it at home, draw the graph, and then correct that tomorrow.
Those of you that are interested in using the partner, you will be here soon. So on the group, I indicated that the class will be here between 6 and 1:06. Divided So listen, I was not sure how many of you are interested. So I told him just to count
minus
and then
90
we'll see.
divided by 4. Your calculator uses both, so you divide it by 2, then you subtract. I will look at it tonight. But you can understand that
Yeah.